Abdullah al-Zubayr or Ibn Zubair was an Arab sahabi whose father was Zubayr ibn Ali al-Awwam, and whose mother was Asma bint Abi Bakr, daughter of the first Caliph Abu Bakr. He was the nephew of Aisha, third wife of the Islamic prophet Muhammad.Abd-Allah. Ibn al-Zubayr was the first Muslim to be born in Medina after the hijrah. He was the most prominent representative of the Muslim nobility. He is regarded as the fifth righteous caliph of Islam who ruled the region from 683 till his death in 692. His caliphate was though challenged by Abdul Malik ibn Marwan after the death of his father. Ibn Zubair led a rebellion against the Umayyad Caliphate but was defeated and killed in Mecca in 692 AD after a 6-month siege by General al-Hajjaj. Ibn Yusuf, biography. Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr was a member of the Bani Hashim tribe and was born 1 year and 8 months after the hijrah of Muhammad to Medina. As such, he was the first Muslim child born in Medina. He was the cousin of Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abu Bakr, who, in turn, was the grandfather of Jafar al-Sadiq ibn Abi said about him. His grandfather Abu Bakr was companion in the cave. His mother, Asma, was in Nitak. His aunt Aisha was the mother of the believers. His paternal aunt Khadija was the wife of the Prophet, and the paternal aunt of the Prophet was his grandmother. He himself is pious and chaste in Islam, well versed in the knowledge of the Quran. As a young man, Abdullah was an active participant in numerous Muslim campaigns against both the Byzantine and Sassanid empires. He marched to Sabiatla, Tunisia, the capital of self-proclaimed local Emperor Gregory the Patrician. Gregory was defeated and killed in the Battle of Sufitula in 647 CE. After the death of Uthman ibn Affan, he stayed politically inactive during the civil wars that followed. However, when the Umayyad dynasty came to power and Yazid I became the heir apparent, he refused to swear allegiance. Yazid reign. After Muawiyah I died in 680, his son Yazid I took over. Hussein bin Ali, Muhammad's grandson, felt that he had to confront him. Both Abu Bakr's family and Ali's family felt Yazid I was unjust and stood up to him. Robert Payne quotes Muawiyah in History of Islam as telling his son Yazid to defeat Hussein, who was surely preparing an army against him, but to deal with him gently thereafter, as Hussein was a descendant of Muhammad, but to deal with Abdullah al-Zubayr Swiftfly, as Muawiyah feared him the most. Ibn al-Zubayr's caliphate. Upon the ascension of Yazid I, al-Zubayr refused to swear allegiance to the new caliph, and went to Mecca. He advised Hussein bin Ali to make Mecca his base and fight against Yazid. When Hussein was martyred in Karbala, Ibn al-Zubayr collected the people of Mecca and made the following speech: O people, no other people are worse than Iraqis, and among the Iraqis, the people of Kufa are the worst. They repeatedly wrote letters and called Imam Hussein to them and took bay'ah for his caliphate. But when Ibn Ziyad arrived in Kufa, they rallied around him and martyred Imam Hussein, who was pious, observed the fast, read the Quran, and deserved the caliphate in all respects. After his speech, the people of Mecca declared that no one deserved the caliphate more than Ibn al-Zubayr and requested to take an oath of allegiance to his caliphate. When he heard about this, Yazid had a silver chain maiden sent to Mecca with the intention of having Walid ibn Utbah arrest Ibn al-Zubayr with it. In Mecca and Medina, Hussein's family had strong support base, and the people were willing to stand up for them. Hussein's remaining family moved back to Medina. Eventually he consolidated his power by sending a governor to Kufa. Soon, Ibn Zubair established his power in Iraq, southern Arabia and in the greater part of Syria and parts of Egypt. Ibn Zubair benefited greatly from widespread dissatisfaction among the populace with Umayyad rule. Yazid tried to end Ibn Zubair's rebellion by invading the Hejaz, and took Medina after the bloody Battle of al-Harra. He then invaded the Tihama and lay siege to Mecca, but his sudden death, in 683, ended the campaign and threw the Umayyads into disarray, with civil war eventually breaking out. Death by Abd al-Malik. The Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik then sent against Ibn al-Zubayr the general al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf. When Hajjaj approached Mecca, he sent a letter to Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr telling him he had three choices: to be taken and chained to Abd al-Malik, who was then the Caliph of Damascus, to leave by himself wherever he wished, renouncing claim on all the lands he had under his control, or to continue fighting to the death. He then went to his mother for advice, and she was over 100 years old. So Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr said to his mother, "In death I will find peace and tranquility. My people have deserted me, even my children and my family, and I am left with a handful of men around me, and the people are willing to give me whatever I want from this world. So what is your counsel?" Thereupon Asma replied to her son, "You know better than me your circumstances. But I say to you this: if you know you are upon the truth, go forth and die like your companions, and if you are after this world, then you are the most wretched of men, for you have wasted yourself and those who are with you. And for how long shall you live in this world? And if you are upon the truth, but now that your companions have left you, you have become weak, this is not the action of a free man and a man of the deen." Then he said, "I am afraid I will be mutilated by the people of al-Sham." To which she replied, "My son, a slaughtered goat does not feel the pain when it is skinned." He kissed her upon the forehead and said, "I swear by Allah, this is my opinion. I have no desire to live in this world, for my aspiration is the life of the hereafter, and all my life I have stood up for truth. But I wanted to know your opinion so that your opinion strengthens my opinion." And then his mother said, "Come closer, my son." When he came closer to her, she embraced him, and when she did so, she felt that he had some metal armor on. And she said, "Oh, my son, what is this? For people who want shahada don't wear this." He said, "Oh, my mother, I only did this to comfort you." She said, "My son, take it off. Tie your belt so when you fall, your aura is not exposed. Fight with bravery, for you are the son of Zubair and the grandson of Abu Bakr, and your grandmother was Safiya." That day he fought but could not match the bravery of followers of Ali. He would repel huge numbers of men until finally they threw a rock upon him and he was on the floor and was still fighting. Then they cut off his leg and finally they martyred him. And when they martyred him, al-Hajjaj came to the mother of Abdullah and wanted to break her resolve, and he said, "How has Allah dealt with his enemy?" But she answered, "You have ruined his life, but he has ruined for you the hereafter." They beheaded Abdullah ibn Zubair and stuck his body up on a cross. The men of al-Hajjaj were saying, "Allahu Akbar, Takbir," and Abdullah ibn Umar went by and he heard them saying that, and he turned towards his body and said, "I was there the day Abdullah was born, and I am here the day he has died. And I heard those who said Takbir the day he was born, and I heard those who have said Takbir the day he has died. And I swear by Allah, those who said Takbir the day when he was born were far greater than those who have said Takbir today." The soldiers went to al-Hajjaj and said, "Take his body down, it has been up for days." To which he responded, "I swear by Allah, I will not take it down until Asma begs me." And when they told Asma that, she said, "Take me to where the body of my son is." She made dua for her son and said, "Isn't it time that Knight of Allah was allowed to come off his horse?" Quote, and when they told this to al-Hajjaj, he felt so little and mean that he brought the body down. Family tree. Timeline of the two caliphates. 4 Umayyad caliphs reigned during the 12 years of Ibn al-Zubayr's caliphate between 680 and 692. The short terms indicated in the upper plot, in light blue and yellow, correspond to the tenures of Muawiyah II and Marwan I, respectively.